Okay, so quick intro about Matt. So he's been in the roofing industry for 3 years? 2.5 years. So he is a marketing expert. This is literally what he was doing for 10 years before. He was actually 5 Point Roofing's marketing consultant. So when they asked him to join the company, he was brand new to the industry. So he's an expert on marketing, new to roofing. So he's very unique in that aspect. So he's got a lot of information. And then basically what happened is year and a half ago, the digital marketing scene was a bit tight. Him and I started talking, and we kind of combined forces to build out this door-to-door system that he has now. He's taken my ideas and just grown with it. So that's essentially what the conversation is going to be about today, is him with his marketing background, with extremely talented, high-earning sales reps, building this door-to-door system kind of into their program, how he made it possible, and how they're able to kind of be a little bit more stable in terms of their leads because of it. So, Matt. There might be one over there if you want it.
Yeah. Well, I figured if you want
That's great.
Maybe not.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, great. Awesome.
Slides. Just this one? Yeah, that's okay. I'll shout when you call.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Hey guys, I got to give a huge round of applause to all you guys for being here today. I appreciate you here to watch my short little presentation talking about marketing, getting your sales guys out in the field, ways to get them excited and amped up, and really galvanizing them to really take the next step forward when it comes to getting on the doors. It's extremely tough, as we all know. I'm going to jump around a little bit on my presentation because we had some adjustments. So we may go a couple slides ahead and then back up, so on and so forth. But yeah, so I guess let's go ahead and get started. My name is Matt Parks. I am with the company 5 Points Roofing. We are out of Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know if there we go. We're out of Nashville, Tennessee, small market just south of Nashville, Franklin. We're 2023, we produced about 12.1 million in revenue and did about 2.3 in net profit. So we had a very, very successful year, and I attribute a lot of that, actually 100% of that, to my sales team. They were extremely efficient in the field. They really just stepped it up to get out there and really self-generate the leads that we needed through all of their door knocking, through their referral systems, and all that. So how many of you guys out here have actual sales teams, like full sales teams? So good chunk of you guys. So absolutely. So we're going to kind of go in a little bit here. I'm kind of talk about, of course, we're going to start of all the lead funnels that we're currently using at our company, how we're starting to generate those leads and bring those people in and those customers into our processes. So of course, we've got canvassing on install day. That's anytime you've got an install going, it's great. The sales rep can be on site. They can start canvassing all around the neighborhood. Hey, you got some trash in your backyard? Let me, just give me a call. I'll come fix it for you. It really starts to build trust with the neighbors and the homeowners. Of course, we got real estate and home inspectors, referrals from existing customers, insurance agents. You generate a storm list. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And then, of course, ads, digital media, PPC, SEO, the whole 9 yards. All right, so let's talk numbers. So when I joined the company in 2021, we were at about 8.1 million in revenue. Just the year before, 2020, when we finished 2020, we were at 6.1. So I joined in 2021. We turned that up into 8.1 through specifically digital media, SEO, PPC. We did not have a door knocking team. We didn't have people out there on the ground. Right now, we've got 9 sales reps with our company. When I started with the business, it was 3. So we successfully amped up all those reps and got them super excited. And then again, we weren't doing any canvassing. We were using an agency, so there was really no accountability metrics with that agency other than the number of leads that were coming in the door. And we had 4 sales reps in 2021. It's kind of skipped around here. Let's see. Yeah, you may have to I may get you to just switch for me. Yeah. 2023, we did 12.1. The way we did that was we handled all of our marketing in-house. We got rid of the agency. The agency was completely not effective or not efficient. They were effective, they just were not efficient in their processes, and it was hard to track them. We started doing this canvassing program using drones. Everybody out there knows the doors are hard, like knocking the doors and getting your sales reps excited about knocking the doors. They don't want to knock, especially you got a sales rep producing $3-4 million in sales. They don't want to knock doors, but how do you get them amped up to do it? So let's talk a little bit about starting to incentivize excitement with the reps. One of the biggest things that you can do is incentivize the self-generation of leads. Are most of you guys, how are you guys sales reps structured? Are they structured with 1099 programs, or are you W-2'd, or is it kind of a mix? So if you got 1099 sales reps, raise your hand. Okay, are all those sales reps specifically generating their own leads? Are they responsible for their own leads, for the guys that are doing that? Or are you guys generating for them? You guys are generating for them? Okay. Well, one great way to self-generate, to get your reps out there in the field to self-generate, is really starting to just make it rain for your reps. You know, they're the ones producing. Find ways to get them super incentivized by giving them bonuses. So what we did last year is we did a $50 bonus per inspection that was set canvassing. One of the biggest things with that is it has to be trackable. So if you're using a CRM, whether it's JobNimbus, whether it's AccuLynx, whatever CRM you're using, make sure that lead source is trackable when they set up the inspection in the CRM. We also offered them an additional 2% bonus on every job that they sold that they actually self-generated that lead for. So if they went out and door knocked and they put the lead in the system, they got it all set up, we gave them an additional 2% on all that. So it increased their commissions from 10% up to 12%. They start looking at it when you get an average job sale of $24,000, that can increase their commissions pretty significantly. And we just built that into our pricing, really is what we did. And again, like I said, it's gotta be trackable. The sales reps are gonna find ways to mark things as self-generated that might be a company lead. So you gotta make sure you have a way to track those actual leads that are coming in. So double checking, there's a couple ways that you can do it. You can really make sure, like for us, we use AccuLynx. AccuLynx, I can see who put the lead in the system. If the lead in the system didn't come from one of our automations, such as a web form or a call, then it's tracked as that specific lead source. But if the sales rep actually generates the lead, they're responsible for putting the lead into the system. So I can see who put the lead into the system. That helps me verify if it was self-generated or not. All right, yeah, we can move on to the next one. Basically, what we want to really dive into today is the doors should be easy. I mean, getting out in the field, we all know sales reps don't want to knock. It's so hard. You're going to get the door slammed in your face 100 times a day, and it's tough. So we started to implement technology within our business, and specifically with drones. So what we did is we required all of our reps to become FAA Part 107 certified. Make sure that they got the commercial drone license, they're able to fly a drone legally. I mean, it's a legal thing, you gotta do it. If they don't have it, they get caught, have an accident, it's gonna be a big issue on you legally. So make sure that they're Part 107 certified. And we can kind of go talk a little bit about it. Like, technology sells, it really does. Like when your customers are in the field, when you're in the field with your customers, having a drone or having something cool, people like to see that. people, it's naturally going to attract somebody. So when you've got your truck parked out front of a yard, all painted up, and you've got a guy out front flying a drone around, people are looking out their window like, what the hell's going on? Like, and they see it and they say, hey, what are you doing over here? Or you got family with their kids walking through the neighborhood. Show the drone to the kid, because they're super excited. So you really kind of amp these people up. And the biggest thing with it, especially with the sales reps, everybody likes the new toy. Like, you get them a new toy, they're like, oh, this is so cool. I want to go out and fly this drone. These reps are like super excited. So what we use is the EagleView Assess drones. It's a great platform. It's super easy. It's all AI powered. There's really no flight required out of it. All you do is draw a box around the house on the app, put the drone down, push a button, and hit start. The drone flies itself, takes off, flies itself, avoids all the obstacles, trees, power lines, everything, takes the photos of the house, and then re-lands. A big benefit of it is, how many of you guys are using EagleView? Okay, great. So EagleView, we all know the reports can get pretty expensive depending on the size of the house. When you go into the EagleView Assess program and you use their drone specifically, it lowers your report cost from, I think we were averaging somewhere around $47 a report. Now we're a flat 30 across the board. So we get not only measurements, but we get not only a $30 measurement, but we also get drone photos of every single inspection that we do. And we require that now of all of our reps. They have to be in the file in order to move it through production. It also, again, it gets the reps super stoked about doing something cool, new out in the field. So they're like, hey, I get to play with this drone basically all day, do 3-4 inspections a day and set it up, get to fly this little drone around. Really super good example of this is Darcy. Darcy is one of my sales reps. She's probably in her mid-50s. She used to be our office manager. So once she started seeing us use the drone, she wanted to say, hey, well, I'd like to try to do that. So we're like, all right, let's get her out in the field and see if she can sell. She sold $4 million in roofs in 2023. Absolutely insane. And she attributes a lot of that to flying the drone because she just attracts attention in the field. She's on the street. Homeowners will walk by. What are you doing? Oh, how are you flying a drone? And Darcy's just sitting there talking them up, And she's absolutely amazing at everything she's done, and her just level of tenacity to get things through to the finish line is awesome. So the drones, I'm telling you, they attract attention and they build those leads for you guys. We can kind of go on. So now, one of the biggest things that Braden really helped me create this year was this door knocking program. So I'd say late 22, late 22, roofing leads kind of started to fall off. The market tightened up. We noticed a pattern sometime in June where it was like the lead funnels are just like, there's no incoming leads. We had a significantly long period of dry weather. We weren't seeing a lot of leaks. So we were trying to figure out, we gotta find a way to get the sales guys out in the field, boots on the ground, knocking doors. They had never done it really before. They never really did. So they were very, very standoffish about it. So what we did, we had them out in the field, and so they're flying the drone for an inspection, and now you've got a reason to knock every one of those 6-pack doors. So you can walk over to the neighbor's house before your inspection and say, hey, just want to let you know, I'm just flying a drone next door. If it flies over your house, I'm sorry, don't let it bother your dog, but we're just doing a roof inspection over here. And then just turn around, walk away as they're shutting the door. By the way, in 5 minutes, without me touching your roof, without me getting on the roof, I can run a quick inspection for you. Just give me your email address and phone number. I'll email you the report when I'm done. That right there generates you, I think we've got over the last 6 months, being able to knock the doors in the 6-pack, you get people that automatically want an inspection now because they don't have to deal with you. They can get an inspection report very easily without having a big sales pitch in front of them. And it just builds that trust with them because they're like, hey, this guy isn't really trying to sell me. He's just offering me a free service. He's already doing it next door. Might as well let him do it. Amazing way to generate 6 leads off of 1 inspection that you've set, and pretty much instantly. It's great. And again, the inspection results with EagleView Assess program, there's 2 different ways that you can do it. You can either do it with what they call Assess View, which just takes about 6 to 10 photos of like the perimeter of the home and the roof. And then there's Assess Detect. Now, that's a little bit higher report cost, but it can actually detect hail damage, it can detect wind damage, it can detect, there's a whole AI algorithm about how it can actually find damage on homes. It can it can highlight creased shingles, anything like that. So flying the inspection is just absolutely critical for these reps. So now again, we talk a little bit about leveraging that trust with the homeowner and the neighbor. The biggest thing is doing it through referrals, storm list, and previous customers. As you're building this trust, you got to build the long-term pipe. One of the hardest things to do is get on a roof, customer is ready to go, absolutely ready to buy, and you get up there and they don't need a new roof. They're absolutely good. So one of the hardest things to do is actually just tell them, hey, you're not ready yet. You're absolutely not. There's no reason for me to sell you on this. By doing that, that leverages the trust of that homeowner. And then waiting for the next storm, if you guys are insurance or retail, I'm not sure, but waiting for the next storm or waiting for the damage when it's ready to go, they're naturally going to call you because they trust you. You told them, hey, you don't got to spend $20,000 with me today. You don't have to. So having that is just enhances that trust immensely. So then you can just set them up with email campaigns, outbound setup calls when that storm does happen. And then you're just going to start to get referrals from that one customer alone because now they trust you as their contractor because you told them the truth, you know? And then of course your past customers, they're absolutely gold. So identifying areas like on Hailtrace, you guys use Hailtrace, any other storm data app or anything, any of those weather apps, identifying those areas for your sales reps, getting them out in the field and calling those neighbors when that storm happens, that you've already built that trust with them. You've got a list. So what we do is we generate what we call a storm list. Every home that we go to, if they're not ready yet, we don't think it's an insurance claim, the customer isn't necessarily ready to file, we put them on what we call a storm list, and that storm list is basically just lets us know every 90 days, check back in with that customer, where are you at in the process? And so we can run a report every quarter and say, okay, time to call all these customers back. Let's get them back in the system, let's open them back up, do another inspection, and get them set. Another thing that we really did that made a huge difference in the amount of leads we had was a referral bonus. I did this last year at the end of 2022. We started a program. It was a bonus program for our homeowners. So any one of my previous customers, we reached out to them. We said, hey, if you give me one of your neighbors, call, set up an inspection for me with any of your family members, friends, whatever, I'll give you a $100 gift card just for the inspection. $100, that's nothing. If we sold the job, we'd give them 400 more. So now they've got $500 in gift cards if we are able to sell one of their neighbors, one of their friends, one of their family members, whatever. So by running an email campaign for that, getting them up to date, having essentially knowing about we offer that referral bonus makes the phones just ring. So the referrals, one thing I will suggest about that referral bonus, there's a program we use, it's called Tango Card. If you've heard about that, Tango Card is a really super easy way to send gift cards to customers. Like just put in their email address, you make a deposit into the account, put your list of people you want to send them to, you can fire off a Visa gift card or Amazon gift card, whatever. They can go in, select whatever card they want. And then it's just a digital card, so it makes it real easy. And I guess we can now go a little bit into add social and SEO. But before we take that next step, should we go through maybe some questions about maybe the doors and anything?
Absolutely. Let's take. We'll break his up into two parts here, like I said. So Matt has talked about taking these like high income, high earning sales reps. I think he was talking about Darcy selling $4 million a year, and kind of converting them into people that are able to knock doors kind of as needed around the job sites, which I know, having worked with a lot of roofers, is a really big concern that a lot of people have in the concept of door knocking. So does anybody have any questions around, there we go.
How do you incentivize your sales reps to get the commercial drone training? I know that's quite extensive, such as when do they do it? Do they do it in their own time? What kind of reward do you have, since that is a lot of work?
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It is hard. Like you're going to a government proctored exam. You are literally getting an FAA pilot's license when you get that drone pilot's test. To get them really amped up to do that is, for us, it was natural because we had one really high performing rep that was in the field, and that high performing rep was flying the drone. So she was naturally just inclined to want to do it. Darcy is just a go-getter when it comes to anything. So what we did is we essentially created an ambassador of the program, and that ambassador goes through and helps train the reps. We also have a system called Drone Launch Academy. Drone Launch Academy is essentially LMS for drone pilot training, and you can learn how to actually fly the drone, what the regulations are. The test is difficult. It's not hard. I've had a couple reps fail it. They have to go back, take it a second time. However, getting them through that training, they get super excited when they see one person already just having extreme success with it. And really just kind of amping them up about just the ability of, when you're flying a drone, you're naturally going to get more self-generated leads, which also turns into that self-generated bonus. So that's a really good way to do it.
Once you get into that buy-in with them, like, how do you go from there? Like, timing-wise, like, some of my sales reps would want to come and do it on company time.
Sure.
Is it something you do on weekend and evening, part of their day?
Yeah, you can decide. So it's now part of our onboarding program. So when we hire a new rep, essentially we give them about 2 weeks of study time where we break their schedule down into the 4-hour block every day where they just focus specifically on the Drone Launch Academy stuff. We also have some training material, guides and stuff that we've purchased, paper stuff. But yeah, we usually block out a window for them, so it's not taking full company time, but we are training them on company time essentially. So, yeah. Yeah.
I was just wondering, how do you guys share the report, or like, what does the report look like for the client, and how do they get inclined to invite you back? Like, how does that process work?
Yeah, so after we door knock a report, we will go back just to knock again, say, hey, the inspection's complete. I'm going to email it over to you, have it to you in about 24 hours. That inspection report comes directly from EagleView to us, and then we send it off to the customer. And it has, depending on if you use the view report, which is just the photos, or if you use the assess report, which is the damage detection. If we run the assess report, it takes a little bit longer. However, it essentially will highlight specific damage areas. And then when we email that report to them, we have an email template that goes out that says, hey, here's your report. Here are the next steps. We believe you need to file a claim at this point. And then you can just kind of go from there. So.
And do you think this model would work for retail?
I think it did. Yes, absolutely. When it comes from storms, yeah, that's fine. But when it goes to retail, you could easily it kind of translates the same way. So essentially, you're selling a retail roof, knocking the door. You're still pointing out damage, even though they may not want to file a claim or whatever. They're ready to move forward. You have all the photos, you have all the documentation. It elevates you in the field. So it increases your closing rates on retail percentages too, because now when the customer is looking at a report that's so professionally structured, they're more inclined to buy for you too. So.
And so when they come back as a sales rep, are they at that point pitching everything? Do they get into the attic at that point? Is that
No, not typically. So they'll go back, our reps will go back after they fly the inspection, just knock the door, let them know it's complete. Then they'll review the report and figure out once it comes back. So if the detective report comes back in 24 hours, they'll review it. They'll schedule a follow-up inspection, say, hey, we actually believe this is time, like it's time to actually get a real inspection. We'll either get somebody on your roof now, or of course, we got to get in the attic, check the decking, so on and so forth. So, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I'll have to send you a copy of it after we're done. Yeah, yeah. I'll give a copy of it to Braden. So no, not initially. We do have a lead inspector that climbs. So if we do a drone inspection and we believe there to be storm damage and it's a claim, we will send a follow-up inspector after just to go actually climb the roof, check to see, all right, is it hail? Because of course you're going to run into problems with some adjusters, especially on insurance claims that, you know, if you haven't been on the roof, you're not marking it up, it's going to be tough. So we always get somebody to do like test squares after at the end of the job, so or at the end of the inspection. So, sure.
you mentioned the drone and EagleView. Is it any drone? Will, I guess, connect to EagleView? Does EagleView sell you the drone?
So EagleView does a leasing program with the drone. I want to say it's maybe $150 a month per user, but what offsets that is the cost of that, the cost of the measurement report coming down. So as long as your rep is doing at least 10, 15 inspections a month, it'll be offset. So yeah, so, yep.
Commercial scenario, what are you going to do? I like the previous slides there. What are you going to do for a commercial scenario where, building owner is liking up the occupant?
Yeah, so we don't actually run a lot of commercial jobs right now. And I do know that EagleView specifically does not measure or do assess reports on commercial jobs. So if the job is a commercial property, it won't do you can't fly the inspection. So this is specifically pertaining to residential asphalt. So. Yeah, I know. That's next. Yeah, that is next. So.
Cool. Awesome. We'll take a couple more.
How do you set expectations for a non-certified drone rep? So he's not certified for the not doing. How do you set expectations?
So when you say set expectations,
They will do a 6 around.
okay.
Not doors anyway, even though.
Yeah, absolutely. So setting the expectation for it's tough because, and honestly, I haven't had much success with that. With the drones, it makes it much easier. They naturally want to do it. They're going to knock the doors. I have not yet, and to be transparent, have had much success getting the accountability by the reps that are not flying the drones. So.
That's why it's in the onboarding.
Yeah, that's why it's in the onboarding now. That's why you got to do it when you get hired. So. Yeah. One more. Yeah.
What's your metrics as far as how many inspections you do and leads versus sales?
So as far as the number of leads that are coming in, last year I believe we generated somewhere around 1,600 leads. Out of that, we set about 800 inspections, and then out of that we're closing 40%. So and that was just on company supplied stuff. On self-generated stuff, we're a little bit higher closing rate because the rep is actually putting in the system when it becomes a prospect and it's already hot. So. Yeah.
Do you find the 2% additional commission rate is to really get them excited to go out and not simply at the oh, I just shut the phone and start set for me versus let me give you a little more work? Is the 2% enough motivation?
Yeah, and for us it has been. Because like I said, our average job size is around $24,000. So for them, that adds $500 basically in their pocket, just to go out and knock. So I'm like, hey, you knock 100 doors, you spend 2 hours doing it, with your drone, then you're going to get 2-3 jobs out of that. It's $1,500 in a couple hours, So
The
cool.
key thing, though, just to go back just to go back to it, is the drones. So the thing that is really, really important to understand is when you solve that problem earlier on with the drones and you can kind of push them to get that done, the 2% doesn't really seem like a hurdle that you have to get over, because I've never knocked doors with drones before, but I've knocked doors. And knocking doors with a drone sounds amazing. Sounds like a cakewalk compared to knocking doors, right? So the 2%, what you might be thinking of is 2% without a drone. That might not be enough, because the guy who presented last year, he's actually here as well. Is Larry here anywhere, or is he in a different room? So Larry last year, they did about $50 million, and theirs was 5%. I don't think they had the drones. They might have had to increase that percentage because it's harder to knock doors, right? So it's key to kind of keep in mind here, when you're talking about knocking doors with a drone in your hand, it's kind of fun. Like, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Knocking doors without a drone in your hand, you might have to increase that percentage to get them to want to do it. So it's important that you see these things are together. It's not just the 2%, it's 2% with a drone and the pilot license and all. It all comes together as a package. You can't, do one without the other. I don't think as well. Yeah, Adam?
Actually, we haven't measured that last year, no. So I don't have a metric of knowing exactly how many reports we sent out, but that's actually a good idea. And that now looks like something I'm going to start measuring. So.
Is that about good? We can go. Okay, awesome. So we can move into a little bit more marketing-focused stuff now. If there's no more questions, which I think will be a good kind of follow-up to this, because it's not a standalone thing. Like, these engines are both running at the same time. And one thing that I just want to say is the door-to-door system that we're talking about here, that Matt's built and other people that I work with have built, like, it's not a standalone feature. It goes with an entire marketing engine of the company. What should be happening, in my opinion, is once you have a door knocking system available, the engine is still running even if it's idling. So what that means to me is that your reps should always know what it feels like to knock doors. If this is something that you guys want to do, your reps should always know what it feels like to knock doors, even if it's like one night a week for like 2 hours, just to keep that rust off. If you go and you get your teams and you beat them up and you get them to go knock doors, and then the leads start coming in from all the digital media again, and then they don't knock doors for 6 months, and then the leads start to dry up again, you're like, all right, we gotta get back on the doors. No one's gonna wanna do it. It's like going to the gym 1 day a week versus 0 days of the week. If you go to the gym 1 day a week, you're always in a little bit of okay shape. If you stop going to the gym and you wait 6 months and you get back into the gym, like, it's brutal to get back into the gym now. You're sore. You don't know, your muscles don't work the same anymore. So this engine, if you build it up, it should keep idling, even if it's very, very small. And what that means in practice is, even if you have an overabundance of leads, too many leads, in my opinion, you should still knock doors a little bit just around these houses, even if it's just one night a week or, exactly.
Install day. Like,
Install day.
Require the six-pack on install day is one of my biggest things, because your install day, it's the easiest. You've already got people swinging hammers next door. People are going to open the door. Hey, got some trash in your yard. I just want to let you know I picked it up. We're going to make sure there's no nails or anything too. So.
Exactly. Have that baseline really, really clear. With Matt, he has the install day, totally fine. Like, that can be your baseline if this is something important. But before you go through all the effort of building something like this out, think through, what is your idling? Like, where is the engine idling? What is the minimum that you don't go below, even if you're overloaded in leads? What Matt's talking about is, even if they have leads, the six-pack leads are better leads than the online leads. They always will be, because you're in the neighborhood. Even if it's retail, these are going to be the same age houses. If it's storm, the storm probably hit the next door neighbor as well. Like, the leads are better in person. They always will be. And they're also less expensive. Even if you're paying the 2%, your marketing cost is usually above 2%. So just keep that in mind. What is the idling that you're going to hold it at? Let's go over here first, and we'll come back.
So the six-pack leads you talk about, on the build day, they're going out, they're knocking the neighbors' doors. How are you holding accountability to that?
So essentially our reps are going to collect the check on the install. So we're making sure.
Matt?
We also just started a new program. I believe this one is called Lead Scout. If you guys haven't used it, it's a canvassing app basically that allows you to track specific neighborhoods. It can send mail campaigns for you. Postcards, I think, are like 80 cents a postcard for a campaign. So basically what we'll do is we'll mark in Lead Scout an install, and then that rep that has sold that job is responsible to go to the job site the day of install, make sure that the install is actually going well, and then talk to the customer, collect the check, and then while they're there, they're responsible to go in and mark in Lead Scout all the homes that they touched. So, or all the homes that they knocked, whether they were home, you can tag if they're not home, you can tag if the person opened the door, so on and so forth. So we're able to track to see, okay, on install day, did you actually knock those 6 doors, and what were your results out of that? Yeah. So in their GSRs, we talk about, okay, how many installs did you have this week? How many doors did you knock this week? We look at all that in our GSRs as well. So. Yeah. Yeah, essentially just everything immediately adjacent to the house. It's not necessarily specific to storms. It can be used in retail as well. So we'll knock the 6-pack regardless if if it's a retail job. We'll go check. We'll look at the condition of the roof, make a judgment call. Like, do we need to actually knock this door? This is a brand new roof. I'm not knocking that door. So on and so forth. But we'll make judgment calls based on it. Yeah. So we try to get everybody out between the hours of 3 and 5. Those are the best times when people are home. That's your good window. So if we have a sales rep stop by the home, plus at that point the roof is almost complete. That way we're making sure people are getting to the doors. So. So if it's a retail job, we're picking up the payment in full. Or we'll pick up the first insurance check. So our insurance checks are typically collected the day of install, not necessarily before the install. We do operate a little bit differently in that aspect, where we allow, we're not going to pick up any money before we actually get to the property. So.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, Zach, you got one more? Okay.
Yeah, so how are they notified once you get to the job? Is your project manager, because I know like our hands-on guys, they're not usually much of thinkers when it comes down to collecting anything.
Sure.
How do you coordinate that standard operating procedure where your crew leader is coordinating that? Because most of our sales guys are out running for the day, and I find a little bit of conflict occasionally getting them there. But I've been really here lately big on, like, if they're done, they don't have to leave. Go collect that check. Is there a way that you systemize that?
Yeah, so essentially with the install, we've now made it responsible where the project manager and the sales rep have to communicate with each other. And we know in AccuLynx, you can look into the messages and see where the install is in progress. And then the sales rep is responsible for putting in AccuLynx, going to pick up check, and talk to homeowner. So.
Awesome.
Yep.
We'll have to cut it there. So we'll move on now to a little bit more of the digital marketing side of things, and we'll let Matt continue from here. So I think that's good. Did you want to start this slide?
Yeah, we can start here. That's fine. We may jump around a little bit, but one of the biggest lead sources that we've had as a company to date has always been digital media. I mean, whether that's social media, sites like Nextdoor, Facebook, so on and so forth. Those are big lead generators. PPC, so pay-per-click ads. So we're talking Google ads, Bing ads, Yahoo search, all that. And of course, social media and other organic options. And then you've got a local search ads, which are Google Guaranteed. I don't know if any of you guys have that in your markets. It's not in every market, but Google Guaranteed is also a great source of that. But really, I've been working with, we took on WebRunner, I believe, in May of this year. It doesn't start immediately. When you start PPC ads, you gotta hone in your campaigns. But we took on WebRunner to do that for us, and man, I gotta admit, it's starting to pay off now. It did take, I didn't see any results for about 90 days, saw very few, but now that they've got the campaigns really running efficiently, I highly suggest that if you're looking into ads, have a professional agency do it for you if you do not already have an in-house ads manager, somebody that's extremely experienced in running Google, Facebook, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I got to give a shout out to WebRunner on that one. I think that's actually a partner of BTA as well. Yeah.
Presenting right after them, all
Yeah.
in that room as well.
Yeah. So.
I actually forgot to use them.
Yeah, we started using them in May because I didn't have a marketing guy at the time, so I was like, all right, time to do it. But yeah, so yeah, I got to give a shout out on to them for ad stuff. If you're looking for ads, go to WebRunner. Any of you guys talking to, how many of you guys really are working either 50-50 insurance retail or a majority insurance? Okay, just a couple of you guys, okay, yep. So one of the biggest lead sources that we found as well is actually talking to insurance agents. So we started getting our sales reps in the field to go and talk a little bit with an insurance agent and figure out, hey, how can we generate leads from the old school people that have an actual physical agent, and they're calling them first. So move on to the next, and I've got a couple things. The thing with insurance agents, it's really good because it's a reciprocal relationship. So you can supply them with leads, and they can supply you with leads. So it's like if you give them something, they feel almost obligated to give you something back. So what we do in an insurance claim, every homeowner that we go to, we ask the homeowner, okay, hey, who's your agent? How has your relationship with that agent been? If it's good, awesome. If they've had a really good, result with their carrier, then they're happy. We take a note of that carrier or that agent's name. So we're gonna go now talk to that agent because we wanna get leads to them. We're gonna feed leads to them as well. A lot of the agents out there, they're bonused based on denied claims. So if the claim is denied, now I'm not saying they're bonused if the claim is denied, they're bonused based on how many claims are filed versus how many claims are denied. So the more denials that they have, the lower their bonus is. So if they get a high number of frivolous claims, they're not getting their bonus that year. So what we really try to do with these agents is show them that before the customer files, this is a valid claim. Like this is absolutely a important claim. We're not gonna tell you to file and then there's actually no damage to the home. So if by showing that documentation to the agent prior to the claim being filed, they start to trust you a little bit more. And then the second thing that we do is if we got a prior customer that's got somebody like Nationwide, they've got an ACV policy, Farm Bureau, or they got somebody with Allstate, and it's just like, it's hard as nails to get claims approved, or they're getting sloped or small repairs, we take a note of that customer as well. And we always ask our customer, hey, if I can find you a better insurance carrier, I work with a lot of different agents in our area. If I can find you a better insurance carrier, would you be open to talking with them? Your claim, we had so many problems with your claim. This is why, you've got a bad policy. And we get their approval. Like, yeah, absolutely. I would love to talk to another carrier. So then we'll go to that agent, we'll go to a new agent, somebody we want to work with, high value profile like Chubb, Pure, we'll work with Farmers, we'll work with sometimes State Farm because we've actually had a lot of luck with them. And we'll go to that agent and say, hey, not only am I asking for a lead and I can show you the documentation for everything, but I've got a good lead for you. Here is a name of homeowner that hates their insurance carrier right now. Give them a call. you know, they're open to looking at another policy. So they absolutely love that. When you're able to hand them a new lead, 100% all day long, they'll want to send you leads back too. So it's just this reciprocal relationship with these agents, and it really, really pays off. You know, even just taking the office lunch one day, you know, doing whatever, but getting these appointments set with the agents, it's going to pay off so much for your reps, especially on insurance claims. So that's really all I had in my presentation, but we can talk a little bit about, you know, SEO, websites, content. With my background in digital marketing and general business consulting prior to joining 5 Points, we really had a big focus on essentially generating leads for my companies at the time. I guess we can just maybe go into a little bit of Q&A about general marketing stuff and SEO. You want to?
Yep. All right, guys. So we've got Matt here for a couple more minutes to help us just talk about marketing, and I just want to put a little bit of emphasis also on just who Matt is and how valuable it is to have him here. If you guys haven't noticed, looking at the awards nominees, Matt Parks is actually nominated for 2 awards this Winter Summit, not just one. He's nominated for Leader of the Year and our top award in BTA, Entrepreneur of the Year. He's nominated for both of those. And he comes from a marketing background. So we have him for another little bit here. I'm sure you guys have questions around marketing, stuff that you've done, stuff that you've tried. If there's anything too complex, we might have to take it off to the side and, you know, have other conversation. But if there's anything that we can kind of tackle here as a group, I think he'd be happy to. So let's open up for Q&A now. We will start here in the blue.
I'm sorry, what was that? You said. So right now, our last year, I think we were well under 5% in marketing spend. In reality, 6 to 8% should be sufficient, and that's where I think, you know, an average should be. I think if you go anywhere above 8%, you start, you know, going into just Lossville, you know. But with marketing, I was able to keep it down really, really low this year because, like I said, we let go of our agency and I handled a lot of it. But moving into 2024, I'm delegating a lot of that responsibility out. So I've hired a senior marketing manager. Having an in-house person that is fully experienced in digital media. They don't even have to be experienced in construction, but in digital media, PPC, SEO, ads, it's absolutely critical, you know. So.
What do you think it's going to be your budget for 2024? What is it roughly?
I think I'm between 6 and 8% in 2024. Yeah. That includes the salary of the employee. Yeah, the employee. Because I mean, if you're going to hire somebody very specific to digital media, it ain't a cheap employee. You know, I think our ad that went out was at $90,000 plus a 50% bonus if they hit their lead target. So you're looking at $130,000, $140,000 employee. But if you think about it, that rep, that employee, that senior marketing person is responsible for generating 3,000 leads in the next year or so. So there's a lot of responsibility. However, and in order to hit their target, they have to have the accountability of, you know, knowing ads, knowing how to run them. So again, it's not a cheap employee, but it will pay off significantly.
Do you consider your cost to EagleView part of marketing? Because you're talking about $40 for a lot of people that you don't necessarily ever get in front of.
That's a great question. Yes. Yes, that's a great question. All of our EagleView measurement costs are a cost of marketing. We do bundle that into our marketing line on our P&L. So.
So in doing the marketing, you give it all to one person, PPC, Facebook, Instagram, or you give each marketing to somebody different?
So initially, now that we've brought it in-house and I've hired this new rep or this new marketing manager, That person is going to be responsible for heading all of the campaigns, and they will also be responsible for hiring the help that they need. So if they can't handle all of those things, they're going to hire a marketing coordinator. They're going to hire another marketing assistant or a videographer. So they're responsible for building that department. So.
Yeah, so again, I'm going to ask the same question again.
Sure.
So we're not in a position to hire somebody who has to do all that.
Sure.
So should we give it all?
Oh, okay. You're saying to like one company, one agency. So that's a really good question because that's why I fired my agency. So that's why we've got WebRunner now. WebRunner only does paid search. I think they're bundling into SEO, but I really highly suggest that if you're going to outsource your marketing work, outsource it to individual companies that have experience in one specific thing. Don't outsource it to multiple people. Or don't outsource it to one agency that says they can do it all, because usually that agency is really good at one thing, but they're terrible at everything else. They've just tried to expand their product offering, and when they expanded their product offering, they just aren't good at it. They've likely got a bunch of new hire employees, so on and so forth. So I'm not a big fan of a general agency or an advertising agency that does everything for you. I'm really, really into individual agencies or essentially subs that are able to do one specific thing. So,
Which means they have to be managed
yeah, they do.
by somebody.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and it does add to time again. Why I've brought in a marketing manager to handle all that. So, yeah, sure, go ahead.
On your 6 to 8% budget that you have for marketing, do you have a rough idea or breakdown of what you're allocating to like digital and any like brand awareness or branding? Like what's that mix?
Yeah, I would say out of our marketing budget, probably 50% of it is allocated to digital. The rest is other traditional marketing, printed materials, stuff like that. Eagle View costs, all that. So I hope that answers the question. Yeah. Sure. Go ahead. Sure. Absolutely, yeah. Yes. So the correct. Yes. Again, that's an accountability of that marketing manager to build the department, keep it within budget. 5% that's not doable. Like I said, that's why we've increased our budget for 2024 to 6 to 8. So. It's not doable at 5%. That's because I was managing the marketing, and I had a ton of experience in it. So that's why there was a lot of success there. But now I've got too many other things on my plate. I can't focus on the marketing anymore. But it's, of course, the number one thing in your business. You have to. So.
What market are you in?
Nashville, Tennessee. Yep. Yeah.
When you said 50% of it is allocated to digital, in that digital marketing, what percentage would be the digital?
Okay, so you're saying what percentage of the let's say my budget's 8%, 4% of that is digital. What percent of like?
What percentage of that goes to the digital? So the digital, maybe I'm wrong, goes to the PPC, Facebook.
So break it down even further. Okay. I don't have that. I'd have to pull a report to tell you, but I would, like I said, 50% of our overall marketing budget is allocated to digital media. So I'm happy to sit down with you and show you a breakdown. So.
What percentage of your, you asked as far as retail versus insurance, what percentage did you have?
I'd say we're probably about 80% retail or 80% insurance and 20% retail. We really focus on the insurance claims. We are in a market that does get a lot of storms. Most of our storms come through spring and they carry us through the year. So.
With that, do you guys do a lot of in-house supplementing for those claims?
Absolutely. That's another responsibility of the sales reps. And that's something that's in our onboarding platform is to get them trained on Xactimate on Symbility, get them up to speed, be able to fully supplement a claim from start to finish. Every single insurance claim must be supplemented. We have that as accountability in our agreements. So.
How many appointments are they responsible for every day in order to do all the supplementing and lead generation? Like how many leads do you expect estimates to go out a day?
One of our accountabilities for our reps is that they have at least 8 inspections a week. To hit our number, they have to have 8. We promise to generate them 4 from a company standpoint, and we expect them to generate 4 from a self-generated standpoint. So. Yep. Yeah. The additional 2%, no, that just goes to their sales commissions. So we put that into their sales commissions. So, yeah. I mean, it could. Yeah, it could. You know, the way we track our P&L is our sales commissions are bundled into our variable expenses. Yeah, they're bringing the lead in. So all of our sales reps are W-2 employees. So I try to keep all the commissions lumped into one single account, so I can kind of track how much in commissions I've paid every year. So, sure.
Are you tracking your head marketer as a marketing budget or overhead expense?
That is part of our marketing budget. So when me and the controller sit down to figure out what our budget is for the year of 2024, we bundled that into there. However, it's still tracked on our P&L as a wage, you know. So, sure. Go ahead.
Traditional marketing like TV, billboards, radio, you guys do?
You know, I've personally, you know, coming from the digital space, I've never been a huge fan of a lot of traditional marketing. There is a place for it, especially when it comes to branding in a large location. So those types of marketing to me are more long-term effects. We personally don't do that right now. It's something that we likely will start doing in 2024. We've got a plan to, you know, I'm sure some of you guys have heard the term 5 Mile Famous. You know, that's one of our goals for 2024 is essentially be 5 Mile Famous, where we're the only person people call within 5 miles. So, sure.
Quick question about keeping the self-generated going on in rich times. So, let's say your leads are overflowing, there's been a storm or a lot of rain or something like that. Now you're booking out 3-4 weeks away. You know what your reps running more than 3 weeks a day, so they actually, their closing rate is more time, that kind of thing. I'm talking about retail. How do you keep in balance them continuing the habits of the in this kind of thing when leads are overflowing in good times, but when things dry up, that practice is still in place.
Sure.
Stopping them for the short term,
I think I want to defer this one to Brady because I think he's got a good plan on this.
Yeah, I think I'd love to tackle this. So the way that I would solve that problem is through the lead qualification process, right? So if there's a certain length of time that you feel uncomfortable being booked out beyond, so you used 3 weeks, we'll just use that for argument's sake. Let's say you're at 2.5 weeks. So you're booking 2.5 weeks out, you don't want to be more than 3 weeks out. So you're like kind of right at that maximum. As you're getting leads coming in from the rainstorm or whatever, whoever's taking the calls or kind of assessing the leads that are coming through digitally, what I would suggest is that you slowly increase the quality of the lead that needs to be there in order to make it onto your schedule so that you are only in front of the best people possible. And I would include door-knocked leads to be always the best quality, right? So like I would have some type of system to score the leads. All leads are not equal. A lead that's, 50 miles away in like a rental, like in like a, bad part of town, it's not the same as one that's a mile away in a beautiful home that you door-knocked, right? So I would have some way to qualify those leads and have some type of scoring system to it so that when I'm at 2.5 weeks, that next half week of lead flow, I'm trying to put in the best possible that I can there. So I would start to become more aggressive on the qualification the further out that I get booked, so that I'm actually booking fewer and fewer people. Even if the lead flow is still strong, I'm booking fewer and fewer people to see the best people possible. That's how I would tackle it. So I don't know if you have any. Oh, go ahead.
That, so let's say you're, you know, invest 2 weeks out or something, but we're calling some more carry this and that far out. You just tell them, hey, we're not, you know, accepting equipment, or this isn't a good lead for us. Take your information and reach out in a month, get it slowed down. Like, how does that? You don't want to
That's exactly.
solve the client or something.
Right.
Or I guess lead. We're like, this company won't even take my whatever. Like, how do you let them down?
I would just let them know that you're overly busy. The problem is if you don't set a line at all and communicate that properly, let's go to an extreme 8 weeks out. Like I work with people that have like giant storms come through. I'm sure you've seen it before. Like you can get so far booked out that you're actually upsetting people anyways. So the likelihood of not upsetting anybody is 0 in that case. So I might as well upset people in the direction that benefits my company and my employees, instead of just benefiting random people that might have amazing leads that I'm just not thinking about it at all. So I would direction my upsetting of clients intentionally so that at least it's a beneficial thing to me, instead of just upsetting everybody beyond a certain point. So you're going to upset people anyways. I would just be intentional about it. Be respectful, have an SOP for it, but you would have to have some way to say, I'm so sorry, we actually can't help you. We'll call you in a month or 2 months if things kind of calm down a little bit, but you'd have to have some way of deferring people away. You would have to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak to that too. And you know, over in March of 2023, we had a large windstorm in Nashville. Wind is a pain in the ass on insurance because 90% of it's sloped or small repairs. So we got to a point where we had so many leads coming in that it was almost impossible to keep somebody happy. So what we started doing is we had the office manager, or now our virtual assistant, essentially before they're setting the inspection, just let the customer know, hey, just to let you know, we're currently booked 12 weeks out. At that point, we were 12 weeks out, and people were starting to get pissed. So it was like, what do we got to do to ensure that we set the expectation literally the minute they're calling? So, hey, yeah, you know, I'd love to help you, but we are 12 weeks out, so I'll try to get to your home within the next week or two. If not, you may need to find some, you know, and we would cherry pick them as well. You know, if it's a 60 square home or 80 square home, 100% we'll try to find a way to get to it. But if it's, you know, just a 20, 30 square home where we were just deferring them out and setting the expectation on that first call, hey, we're 12 weeks out, we may not be the best fit for you, you know. Sure.
Yeah, you said that your expectation with your sales reps is that they generate 4 appointments a week and the company generates 4. Is that like an average, or are you holding them accountable to that year round? Like now, if you have an off season this time of year, what's that?
Yeah, we do that as an average. We don't, you know, I'm not sitting down on weekly GSRs with the reps saying, why didn't you get 4 inspections last week? Or why didn't you get, you know, because maybe there could be a week where I didn't generate 4 inspections for them. So we just expect that when they're slow, they're staying busy. And we address that every week in the GSRs. You know, we talk about, hey, how was your week last week? You know, tell me a little bit about what you did. I noticed your calendar wasn't booked fully. What are you doing to generate new business? And then we use those GSRs as like amp up time. It's time to, you know, all right, you didn't do it, you didn't have anything done. You should be at agents, you should be at, you know, trade shows, you should be everywhere you can be, you know, networking events, be everywhere you can be if your schedule isn't full. So, but yeah, to answer that question directly, we keep a running average of how many inspections and how many leads they're actually getting on a weekly basis. So.
I think we will close out there. Guys, this has been awesome. Can we get a round of applause for Matt? He has been amazing.